brain experiment. Psychology, behavior, mental health. Doctors, teachers, philosophers, professors, and faculty, associates have chosen the scientific method and observation, misdirection, confusion, and brilliant, high, unreachable IQ. And there's other options and choices. But what's kept people from dying previously in world wars, fighting for the colleges and the universities where they make their hundreds of thousands of dollars and pay for their houses and their fences and their Marxist literature and their communist cards they carry in their wallets and the algorithms in their bank accounts from the government they want to eliminate and denounce as the problem, was what helped me when I was working with young people at New Horizons in Seattle, a ministry, a Christian organization for homeless and at risk, smaller humans with growing brains. Was to start trying to solve the problems with decision making. In other words, instead of staring at the man who never flinches and the woman who never looks out of place and the group and the social internet, has to do with the brain and mind. The mental health of these young people and these smaller humans with hormones, drug addictions, hunger, poverty, suffering, abuse, bruises, broken nose, stitches from fights in Seattle. From folks and people who said, let's figure out your emotions. Let's talk about what's happening now in your life. And let's discuss when you were with your mom and dad, when you had a life, in other words, again now. Counselors and social workers who send these clients and visitors of the center to go do reviews and get accepted into a program now. And who brought them food from outdated grocery stores and gave them lists for free. Objects. And told these people, these young folks, young humans, young kids, street kids, they said, at the New Horizons, their mind and their brain in the world where their generosity and love, their calm and effective behavior, their body strong and their voice deep, and their stomachs filled with joy and bliss. Distractions and confusion, simply language and words and dumbness from a lack of education in their schools. And the experiment with the brain was one of the first books I read as a fellow, an urban ministry fellow at New Horizons now. When I heard the same yelling voices in Belltown and the same creepy people I see in the hallways of this building at 5 a.m, when I'd arrive to begin learning about how to solve youth mentoring and mentorship. We ordered, me and the communication director, an experimental neuroscience book after the original neuroscience text of 1,000 pages or so, to begin the system we were trying to provide as an option or a choice, with processes for being healthy and free from distraction and scary people, violent people, and voyeurs, perverts, who'd buy sex from the girls and the ladies and the women who were barely old enough to vote, and sometimes underage now. And the best example of an experiment that has been beneficial has to do with what the brain does. Speak silently. Speak silently, but also talk to the mind. Let the brain talk to the mind and do what those philosophers and those Marxists and those ideology obsessed politicians love so much now. Say echo, echo. And let the two synchronize. And in the old traditions, they'd say duality, and now humans have gotten smart enough to know non-duality. Civil war has to do with two choices in a similar example. You're the Confederate, you're the Union, you are the Black Lives Matter, you are that stupid, racist, nationalist, disgusting, and violent United States of America flag-carrying veteran. The veteran says non-duality and speaks with the freedom from the Constitution and the amendments the brutal, revolutionary, rioting, countercultural, dominating, man, woman, gender neutral, human. Break the veteran's jaw. Knock the veteran over and start to beat the person who fought in a war. To give the person who is beating him a right to say they don't agree. Now, there's disorders and there's always risk involved. Any choice to do the experiment, to ignore the option, to choose the thought about what should happen now in the system available, but with different people in charge now, and more services and more free money now. Om. The most direct path towards the consciousness the light provides, the consciousness the masks provide, the consciousness the room provides with its dimensions. Love, and then the warmth from the body. The process reduces the conflict and also teaches stimulation, making that tension, laughing and joking about death and destruction, and then playing a video game, killing people to practice the techniques and the strategy and the tactics for guerrilla warfare. The change in the world a person, anyone wants to see doesn't come from a thought or thinking, doesn't come from some slogan or some graffitied word about some ethnic dialect and some diversity. Change happens with a process. Consciousness happens with a process, and mind gets trained with habit, work, systems, martial arts, and self-control. Psychologically. Restrained mentally with a little attention and some awareness and freedom. Now.